most people think of Sweden as a fairy tale. A land of pristine forests, beautiful people, and a social safety net so perfect it borders on utopian. They see the clean streets of Stockholm, hear about the 480 days of paid parental leave, and declare it the ideal society. But this perfect image is a carefully constructed facade, a beautiful cage built on a foundation of contradictions. What if I told you that the very thing that makes Sweden seem so perfect, its social contract, is also the source of its deepest anxieties? That beneath the calm surface, a battle for the nation's soul is raging. This isn't a journey to see the sights. This is an investigation into the price of paradise. Together, we're going to unlock the secrets of the Swedish paradox. Our journey begins where the myth is born: the welfare state, or folkhemmet, the people's home. This isn't just a political term, it's the foundational philosophy of modern Sweden, conceived in the 1930s by social democratic leader Per Albin Hansson. His vision was to transform a society starkly divided by class into a national family, where the state acts as the benevolent parent, ensuring no one is left behind. It was a radical promise of security and equality, and it has shaped every facet of Swedish life for nearly a century. You see this promise delivered in the most fundamental ways. The water from the tap in your Stockholm apartment isn't just drinkable. It's a source of national pride, some of the purest in the world. A public good delivered with unwavering quality. The vast forests, covering nearly 70% of the country, aren't just scenery, they are a public right. The concept of Allemansrätt 10, or everyman's right, is a profound expression of this collective ownership. It allows anyone to walk, camp, or pick berries and mushrooms on almost any land, public or private, as long as they show respect and stay out of private gardens. It's a deep, trust-based connection to nature, woven into the very fabric of the national DNA. This philosophy extends into a complex and astonishingly comprehensive support system, administered largely by the FOS Kringasan, the Swedish social insurance agency. It's an institution that touches every citizen's life from cradle to grave. Imagine this: you're sick. You can take up to 14 days off work, with pay from your employer, without even needing a doctor's note. The state and your employer trust you. If your illness extends beyond that, the FOS Kringasan steps in with sickness benefits. Need a dental filling or a complex procedure? The state provides subsidies, significantly reducing the cost. Lose your job? You can apply for benefits from a voluntary unemployment fund, FICA, which provides a substantial portion of your previous income while you search for new work. Education? It's entirely free. From elementary school all the way through university, even for doctoral studies. Students are also entitled to state-subsidized loans with exceptionally low interest rates to cover living expenses. And of course, there's the famous 480 days of paid parental leave, to be shared between parents, with 90 of those days specifically reserved for each parent to encourage shared responsibility. It is, by any measure, a masterpiece of social engineering designed to create security and foster equality. But this masterpiece comes with a colossal price tag, paid for by some of the highest and most complex taxes in the world. It's not just for high earners. While the top marginal income tax rates can soar well above 50%, the tax burden is felt by everyone. Sweden has a standard value-added tax, or moms, of 25% on most goods and services, one of the highest in the world. This isn't just a tax. It's a subscription fee to the Swedish dream. It fundamentally alters your relationship with money and the state. You are not just a citizen. You are a shareholder in a massive, collective enterprise. and your dividends are paid out in the form of Social Security. And right now, that enterprise is facing serious headwinds. The original video claimed Sweden's economy was one of the weakest in the EU. This is a gross mischaracterization. Sweden is a highly developed, export-oriented, and innovative nation. It's a global powerhouse in technology: Ericsson, Spotify, engineering, Volvo, Scania, ABB, fashion, H&M, Acne Studios, and even video games, Mojang, Minecraft, King Candy Crush. However, its economy is uniquely vulnerable. By choosing to keep its own currency, the krona, and not adopt the euro, Sweden retains monetary policy control, but is also exposed to global market fluctuations. In recent years, the krona has weakened significantly against the euro and the dollar, making everything from imported food to foreign travel more expensive for Swedes. Inflation, a global phenomenon, has hit particularly hard here. Energy prices have seen staggering increases, and the cost of basic groceries has surged. That coffee at a neighborhood cafe can easily set you back $6 or $7. That simple pasta dish for $25 is not an exaggeration in central Stockholm. So while Swedes earn in krona and spend in krona, the purchasing power of those earnings is being visibly squeezed. The high cost of living is a constant, palpable pressure. Owning a home in a major city is a monumental challenge that feels increasingly out of reach for many. In Stockholm, apartment prices can easily reach $10,000 per square meter. A modest 100 square meter family home can cost $1 million or more. This economic reality means that for most families, a dual income isn't a progressive choice, it's a baseline necessity. The safety net is there, robust and reassuring, but daily life is an expensive, high-stakes balancing act. Paradise has a password, and that password is full economic participation. To truly understand the rhythm of Swedish life, you must learn its unspoken languages. The two most important words are not taught in any language course, but they govern every social interaction. They are Legum and Jantelagin. Legum is the most quintessentially Swedish of concepts. It has no direct English translation, but it embodies the principle of just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. It is the active pursuit of moderation, balance, and fairness in all things. You see Legum in the clean lines and understated elegance of Scandinavian design. Functional, beautiful, but never ostentatious. You feel it in the social atmosphere. Calm, orderly, but rarely overflowing with loud, boisterous emotion. You hear it in the moderate volume of conversations on public transport. Legum is about finding a deep and abiding contentment in the middle ground, avoiding all extremes. It's a philosophy of life. But Legum has a darker, more restrictive sibling, a shadow that walks beside it, Jantelagin, or the law of Janti. This isn't an official law, but a powerful unwritten social code originating from a 1933 novel by the Danish, Norwegian author Axel Sandemos. It has 10 rules, but they all boil down to one crushing core principle. You are not to think you are anyone special. Don't brag about your success. Don't show off your wealth or intelligence. Don't believe you are better, smarter, or more important than anyone else in your community. Jantelagin is the great social leveler, the cultural force that demands conformity and humility. On one hand, it fosters a collectivist spirit and prevents arrogance. On the other, it can stifle ambition, creativity, and individuality. Imagine you get a big promotion at work. In many cultures, you'd celebrate loudly with friends and family. In Sweden, under the silent gaze of Jantelagin, you might downplay it, saying, "Oh, it was a team effort," or "I just got lucky," for fear of appearing boastful. This social code is what makes Swedish society seem so serene and non-confrontational from the outside, but it can also feel profoundly isolating, especially for foreigners who are used to more expressive cultures. It explains why it can be so difficult to make new friends. Approaching a stranger in a bar or striking up a conversation on the bus can be seen as overly forward, a violation of their personal space, a disruption of Legum. This is precisely why dating apps like Tinder have become so ubiquitous. They provide a structured, pre-approved, and safe digital space to bypass the immense social risk of face-to-face rejection. This cultural dynamic creates a society where consensus is valued above all else, where rocking the boat is the ultimate social sin. Politics and religion are rarely discussed in public gatherings, not because people lack opinions, but because such topics are inherently divisive. It's safer, more Legum, to talk about the weather or your summer vacation plans. This is the source of the tranquility you observe, but it's also a potential source of deep, unspoken loneliness. The social harmony is maintained by everyone agreeing to sing in the same, quiet, and carefully modulated key. The Swedish workplace is a perfect microcosm of these powerful cultural codes. Many companies pride themselves on a flat hierarchy, where the CEO might sit in an open-plan office alongside junior employees and be addressed by their first name. Decisions are often not made from the top down. They are reached through a process of consensus culture, a culture of consensus. This involves endless meetings and discussions to ensure everyone has a voice and agrees with the path forward. When it works, it fosters incredible buy-in and team cohesion. When it doesn't, it can be maddeningly slow, paralyzing innovation and promoting risk aversion. And at the very heart of the workday is FICA. To dismiss this as a simple coffee break is to fundamentally misunderstand its importance. FICA is a mandatory, often twice daily, social institution. It's a scheduled pause where all work stops and colleagues gather to drink coffee, eat pastries, often the iconic cinnamon bun or cannelbowl, and simply talk. It's where relationships are built, where informal knowledge is shared, and where barriers between departments are broken down. In many ways, it's where the real work of consensus building happens. To consistently skip FICA is to signal that you are not a team player, that you place yourself outside the collective. This structure is designed to support the famous Swedish work-life balance, preventing burnout and fostering a humane work environment. But that balance is under increasing strain. As we've discussed, the economic pressures mean that Swedes work hard. The romantic idea of a single-income family is largely a relic of the past. The country's steadfast commitment to gender equality means women have one of the highest employment rates in the world. But this equality is born as much from economic necessity as it is from progressive ideology. For an outsider, breaking into this unique system presents a significant challenge. While almost every Swede under the age of 60 speaks flawless, often unaccented English, professional life is conducted almost exclusively in Swedish. You can survive with English, but you cannot truly integrate or thrive professionally without it. All the nuance, the water-cooler chat, the FICA conversations, the subtle cues of the consensus culture, they all happen in Swedish. The government provides excellent and free Swedish for immigrants, FI courses, but reaching a level of fluency required to navigate a complex and nuanced office culture is a years-long commitment. The promise of a balanced life is real, but it requires total immersion and an acceptance of the unwritten local rules. Now we must address the most complex, sensitive, and controversial chapter in Sweden's modern story, immigration. The original video dangerously and irresponsibly stated that most of the crimes in the country are committed by immigrants. This is not only a gross oversimplification contradicted by official statistics, but also a harmful stereotype that deliberately ignores a deeply complex and painful reality. For decades, Sweden positioned itself as the world's humanitarian conscience. In the mid-20th century, it invited guest workers from southern Europe and Finland to fuel its booming industries. In the following decades, it opened its doors to refugees fleeing political persecution from Chile in the 70s to the Balkans in the 90s. This culminated in the 2015 refugee crisis, when Sweden took in more refugees per capita than any other European nation. Today, about 1 in 5 Swedish residents was born outside the country. This policy has irrevocably transformed a once homogeneous society into a vibrant, multicultural one. But this rapid transformation has not been without immense challenges. The idealistic promise of the Folkhemmet was that everyone, regardless of origin, would be seamlessly integrated into the Swedish people's home. The reality, however, has often been one of segregation and exclusion, or utanförskap, a key term in the Swedish political debate. Many immigrant communities have become concentrated in the concrete housing projects, miljonprogrammet, built in the 60s and 70s, which ring the major cities. In these areas, unemployment is significantly higher, school results are lower, and social mobility is severely limited. This has, in effect, created parallel societies where residents have little daily contact with mainstream Swedish life. These conditions of social and economic exclusion have, in some areas, become breeding grounds for serious social problems, including organized crime and brutal gang violence. To say this is a problem caused by immigrants is to willfully ignore the systemic failures of decades of integration policy, economic disenfranchisement, and the profound challenge of social exclusion. It's a complex socio-economic issue rooted in policy and circumstance, not a simple question of ethnicity or origin. This social friction has caused a political earthquake that has shattered the old Swedish consensus. For decades, politics was a stable affair dominated by the center-left Social Democrats. But the challenges of integration have fueled the dramatic and once unthinkable rise of the Sweden Democrats, a party with its roots in the white nationalist movement. After years of being treated as a pariah party, under a cordon sanitaire by the political establishment, they are now the second largest party in parliament and a key power broker for the center-right government. They campaign on a platform of strict immigration limits, law and order, and a defense of traditional Swedish values. The country is now in the midst of a profound and often painful identity crisis. What does it mean to be Swedish in the 21st century? Is the people's home open to everyone, or is it reserved for those who fit a traditional cultural mold? The serene political consensus of the past is gone, replaced by a polarized and often bitter debate. This is the unspoken tension you feel in the air, a deep societal divide hidden just behind the polite Legum veneer. Sweden is no longer a simple fairy tale. It's a living laboratory for one of the greatest political and social challenges of our time. Finally, we must talk about the landscape itself, because in Sweden, geography is destiny. The national psyche is defined by the country's two dramatic extremes: the glorious, endless light of summer and the profound, oppressive dark of winter. In summer, the country is reborn. From late May to August, the sun barely sets, a phenomenon known as the white nights. Life moves outdoors. The entire nation seems to decamp to their stugor, summer cottages, painted in the iconic Falu red. People swim in the more than 90,000 lakes, barbecue in the long twilight, and soak in every precious moment of light. It's a period of collective, nationwide euphoria. But then comes winter, and with it, Markret, the darkness. In the far north, in Swedish Lapland, the sun can disappear entirely for weeks, a time known as the polar night. Even in Stockholm, you might only get 5 or 6 hours of gloomy, weak daylight. The psychological toll is real and well documented. Seasonal affective disorder is a common ailment, and the long, cold, dark nights can be a severe test of mental fortitude. This, combined with the high taxes, is one of the main reasons people, both Swedes and expats, choose to leave the country. Yet, Swedes have developed remarkable cultural coping mechanisms. This is the culture of Ms. The art of creating intentional coziness. It's about fighting back the darkness by creating internal light. It's lighting candles everywhere, wrapping up in warm blankets, drinking hot glow GGs, mulled wine, sharing a comforting meal with friends, and finding connection and warmth to endure the cold. It's an active, conscious effort to create psychological light when there is no physical light to be found. And in the winter, there is also a quiet beauty, the magic of a snow-covered landscape, the joy of skiing and ice, skating on frozen lakes, and the otherworldly spectacle of the northern lights, or Norsken, dancing in the Arctic sky. And perhaps the most startling and symbolic expression of the entire Swedish mindset is the common sight of babies in their strollers, bundled in layers of wool, sleeping peacefully outside cafes in the freezing cold. To an outsider, it looks like shocking negligence. To a Swede, it's perfectly logical. They hold a deep cultural belief that the fresh, cold air is healthy, builds resilience, and helps babies sleep better. The national saying encapsulates it all. There is no bad weather, only bad clothes. But more than that, it is a radical act of collective trust. It is trust in the safety of their society, that no one will harm or take their child. It is trust in their equipment and knowledge, that the high-tech stroller and layers of wool will keep the baby perfectly warm. And it is a profound trust in their shared cultural wisdom. It is the Swedish social contract, the welfare state, the philosophy of Legum, and the deep connection to nature, all distilled into a single, quiet, and deeply paradoxical image. It is a society built on immense collective trust, now facing existential challenges that are testing that very trust to its absolute limits. Sweden is not a simple postcard. It's a living, breathing, and deeply complex social experiment, a nation grappling with the true cost of its own lofty ideals. It's the story of a society that has successfully built one of the most comfortable and secure homes in the world, and is now struggling with the difficult questions of who to invite inside and how to pay for the upkeep. The journey here isn't about finding a perfect utopia, because one does not exist. It's about understanding the beautiful, complicated, and often contradictory human effort to build one. It's a powerful lesson that progress is never finished, and that even in paradise, there are long, dark shadows. What part of the Swedish paradox surprised you the most? Was it the silent power of Jantelagen, the pressures behind the work-life balance, or the complexities of its identity crisis? Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If this story opened up a new perspective for you, please share this video with a fellow traveler who loves to look deeper than the surface of a destination. Subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the world's most fascinating and misunderstood places. And if you're curious about another nation's hidden story, check out our video exploring the complexities. Thank you for joining this journey. We'll see you on the next one.